Hey everybody, and welcome to the Army Showcase. The Army Showcase takes a look at different armies from different games. Now, in this video, we are going to have a look at a small section of the Roman army from Warlord Games' Epic Battles Hail Caesar Hannibal set. In this video, we're only going to have a look at two bases, and there's a reason for that. A lot of work has gone into these two, so I thought it would be great to feature them on their own, so you can really appreciate the figures by themselves. The figures we're looking at today are the Gallic Celt Skirmishers with slings. These were painted by Laisu, and as usual, you can expect a fantastic job. Now, he says that the Gallic Celts have always intrigued him. From a painter's standpoint, they are quite a challenge. The poses are very energetic and diverse, and there's almost a complete flexibility in colors and design, which actually makes them a rather daunting, especially for someone who considers himself a slow painter. That said, I'd like to point out that from my perspective, Laisu isn't a slow painter anymore. His production speed has increased a lot over the last, couple of months. These Gallic Celt Slingers were essentially a test piece, an experiment in composing very vibrant colors while still keeping everything harmonious and cohesive. That's always tricky. When you use a lot of color, it's easy for the unit to look messy rather than unified. So at this time, he used slightly paler skin tones to distinguish them from the more Mediterranean-looking troops in the army. Okay, so here is where a bit of historical discussion comes in, and I could be wrong, but I did some research. In Scipio Africanus' army, most slingers were actually Balearic Islanders or Celtiberians from the Iberian Peninsula, so they would likely have more Mediterranean features. That pretty much led me down a small rabbit hole. During the period, Celtic was really a broad umbrella term, similar to how we use European today. Traditions varied widely by region. For example, the so-called insular Celts in Britain were more isolated from Mediterranean influences, and they are often associated with blue body paint and tattooing as a psychological tactic. Meanwhile, Celtiberians were heavily involved in trade with the Greeks and the Romans. They valued expensive gear like bronze helmets and gold torques, and there was very little evidence they used war paint. The most famous description of blue body paint actually came from Julius Caesar, writing in the 1st century BC, about 150 years after Scipio's time. When Caesar invaded Britain, he noted this as a distinctive practice of the Britons. If the Gauls he fought earlier had commonly used blue paint, it's likely wouldn't have seemed so remarkable to him. But of course, none of this takes away from the painting here, because these figures look fantastic. Now back to the painting. Laisu chose a paler skin tone mainly as an artistic decision to create contrast within the army. The blue war paint was also deliberately used to harmonize the unit, adding a shared color element across the otherwise very varied miniatures. As for the fine details, he used his trusty Winsor Newton Series 7 size 000 brushes, which really helped with the intricate work. Rather than aiming for extremely tiny, scale-accurate tattoos at 13.5 mm scale, he opted for larger spirals and bands, shapes that remain visible and impactful at tabletop distance. As you can see, the details are excellent. Some historical purists might consider the war paint inaccurate for continental Gauls of this period, but visually, it works beautifully. To complete the bases, he used a lot of contrast paints, Vallejo Express colors for the clothing. He limited himself to a small pool of colors, greens, yellows, reds, browns, and blues, which align with dyes known from the period. For highlights, he used a common mix of sand yellow to keep everything slightly muted and helps to balance the otherwise vibrant palette. Another big challenge he felt was painting the patterned fabrics that the Celtic clothing is known for. He kept this manageable by painting only a few stripes and simple patterns. For painting the fine lines, he advises, now brace both hands, rest your elbows on the table, and rotate the miniature rather than the brush, which is a very, very practical tip. He also did some hobby work by trimming decals to decorate the shields, which, is a really nice touch. But one of the biggest wins is actually the hair and facial hair. Instead of simply highlighting the raised areas, he mimicked the hair strokes to create the illusion of texture. He jokes that since Warlord Games went through the effort of sculpting all those mustaches and beards, he might as well paint them properly. The blonde and red hair tones sit very nicely against the pale skin, and the effect looks fantastic. Even though we're only looking at 2 bases, just 10 figures, you can see how much character they bring when painted to this level. The basing process was already covered in the Roman infantry and cavalry masterclasses, so you can check those out if you want the full basing recipe. Now, I call this a masterclass because you can see the amount of work that's gone into these. I don't know if the camera fully captures it, but in person, the level of detail is truly impressive. These will be a great addition to his army, and hopefully once everything is completed, we'll be able to display the whole force together in a proper showcase. So, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed looking at these 2 bases. We definitely have more coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you enjoy these masterclass videos, ring the bell so you'll be notified when the new one comes out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.